Good morning everyone and welcome back to Thai Talk with Dan in Nong Khai, which is in the northeast Thailand region, as high in the north as you can possibly be, near the Laos border. So today guys, in this video I'm going to share an email that was sent in from John from Australia. Hi Dan, I watch and enjoy your videos, and although many of the stories people send to you are similar in nature, it demonstrates a pattern which is really helpful for people. I really believe it raises awareness and sends warning shots to people who would otherwise fall into one of several scams, traps that are doing the rounds. Firstly, I just want to acknowledge your position. I've heard many over the years wax romantic about leaving everything behind and just going to some far-flung destination with no money and taking a risk. Well, you actually did it and prevailed, so kudos. My name is John and I live in Australia. I bought a condo in Pattaya some years ago and have been coming several times a year since COVID withstanding. I also visited Thailand many times before that. I'm moving over there full time in about 5 years on a military pension, and I'm now in my late 40s. I'm not going to lie, the biggest draw card to a place like Pattaya by far is the girls and that scene in general. And if others were being completely honest, they'd admit as much too. Yes, the weather, food and cost of living, among other things, are great, but there are many other places that offer these things, which is true. Recently, I watched a clip where you posted a story that was sent in to you. This person said something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing here, "I don't like Thai girls seriously and only dabble when in Bangkok or Pattaya, and that's how I avoid the dramas that so many other Falang men experience." Whilst I couldn't agree more with the sentiment, the reality is that we're only human. And whilst he's right on paper, it's pretty vacant. As I said above, I'm no newbie to the Thai P4P scene. And for me, the key is enjoying it for what it is, without trying to make it something that it isn't. Still though, we all have emotions that influence and shape our behaviours, including the girls, which can sometimes get the better of us regardless of how much self-discipline we have. It's not about to go on a tirade about how the girls are the ones worse off, etc. Like anybody else, I hate getting ripped off by anyone, but I can see what drives them to become what they are. They see a loaded guy arrive, spend a heap of cash, and then leave. Then another loaded guy arrives, yes, also spending a heap of cash. And so they make hay while the sun shines. In the spirit of hustling, they're true entrepreneurs and can't really be faulted for their behaviour in that respect. If you watch any of these entrepreneurial YouTube gurus and compare their doctrine to what bar girls do, it's almost directly out of their playbook. Also, as I've heard you say before, Thai culture is dramatically different from the West. And while I'm not saying for a minute that the majority of working girls wouldn't do something else if they had better prospects, it's more acceptable in some places, especially when they're doing it all to provide for a family. When it's all said and done, money is money, no matter where it comes from. They're not bank robbers after all, and any time I've listened to stories about Falangs losing money to these girls, on closer inspection, it's the Falang who's handed the money over. It's not like they've stolen your passport from your hotel room and tried to extort payment. Yes, they may have told some white lies or outright whoppers, but the point is that nobody put a gun to their heads to hand over any money. Some may say it's unethical or improper to prey on others, but that's the game. That's one reason why it's always good to have people to look out for you, and vice versa. COVID not only decimated their economy generally, but sex workers are technically illegal and so had no financial recourse throughout the entire pandemic. All the while though, they had to pay rent and for groceries if they didn't go back to the farm, while waiting for the country to reopen and their customers to return. With that in mind, is it any wonder that prices have increased? Come to Australia and pay $2 for a litre for fuel. Yeah, thought not. I'm divorced for many years now, and while I tend to share a similar outlook to the person who sent you the email regarding not taking Thai girls too seriously, I think hope springs eternal for all of us in that we might someday meet somebody compatible. When I visit, I always make sure to have a good time, but I'm very aware of remaining firmly anchored to reality and look for the red flags, and more importantly, act on them if and when they arise. When you have a pretty girl 30 years your junior making a fuss over you, and you've somehow convinced yourself that it goes beyond some kind of transactional agreement, then you're either lost in space or you're George Clooney. Generally, if something looks too good to be true, it probably is, and that's the same whether you're in Thailand or Timbuktu. At the end of the day, the girls will let you believe what you want to, and that all goes back to the hustler culture. Honesty usually ends up costing you money. Historically, that's how economics works. Finally, I just wanted to make one comment about money and the general cost of things over there. After watching several YouTube channels regarding retiring there, expats overwhelmingly complain about one thing: the cost. Although I'm the first to admit that the pre and post-COVID prices are different and the airfares can be hexy at times, the 1980s are over. People continue moving over there, though, because although prices have increased, they're still way lower than elsewhere. How much you spend is entirely up to you. The cost of my condo is less than $60,000 a year to maintain, and I know you're well aware of the cost of food and general living expenses. 2-week holidays to somewhere like Thailand are great, specifically because you can spend like a drunken sailor. Living there is obviously very different, and you need to be sensible. If you're complaining about the cost of a bar fine, well then you might as well be complaining about the cost of go-karting or archery, because they're all recreational activities that you spend your disposable income on. Whinging about it on expat forums won't change it any. So please just continue to share information about where the bargains can be found like any other country. If you expect to live the rest of your life spending like you did on that two-week vacation, then sheesh. Thanks for reading, and I apologise for a lengthy missive. If I come across as negative, I promise you it's not the case. In fact, I prefer mixing with people who have a positive but realistic outlook. That's one of the reasons why it's so hard for me to connect with the expat community when I'm over there. Whinging about this, whinging about that, I often feel myself on the verge of just telling them to pack up and go home. I'm sure you see it all the time. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Take care and keep up the good work. Regards, John. Well, cheers for sending your email in, John, and sharing your thoughts with everybody on the channel. I do agree somewhat in regard to the expat community. It can be very negative, and if you walk into a bar, even in the daytime, you'll see most faces that have a load of problems. You can see it on the face. They've got a lot of issues, and it's normally to do with a female. So the happiest people that I normally meet in Thailand are either single or brand new here. Anybody who's been here for a lengthy amount of time, they've got a missus. 99% of the time, they look absolutely depressed. So if you sit down and you talk with these types of people, you're going to be depressed also, and it can kill your mood, kill the vibe, and put you in a negative mindset. Most of the time, I've spent my time around Thai people since I've been in Thailand, just to try to learn and understand as much as I can, because I knew I was going to more than likely stay here indefinitely. And I just didn't see the point of traveling across the other side of the world and spending time with people from the UK or mixing with other Europeans, etc., because I'm not really going to learn anything. And I quickly learned when I first moved here that most people that have been here for a long time are normally depressed, they're negative, they've got certain mental issues. Not everybody, of course, guys, but you do meet them. And I think anybody who's spent a long time here and travelled around and not just stayed in one place, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, John's also right in regards to what he's saying about the P4P scene. You know, if you're going with a freelancer or a bar girl and you've fallen in love, I mean, it's their business. They are entrepreneurs. I do agree with that statement. They've got a job to do, and their job is to solely make money. Yeah, so they're going to say and do everything that they possibly can in order to generate cash from you. And obviously, because you're with them on a sexual nature, or you're falling in love with them because of their beauty, etc., they're going to use their attributes and they're going to say everything that they can so you fall deeper and deeper to extract more and more from you. And like I've said before in many videos, the end game for a lot of these girls is to try and make you become a monthly sponsor, and hopefully you might marry her so she can obtain land from you, a house, a car, etc., in her name. And when she gets bored, she'll move on to the next one. Or if she can't extract any more cash, she'll move on to the next one. But if you're very cash rich, she'll just stick with you. She'll probably cheat on you. She'll probably have a good time with other men. You may get to know about that. You may not get to know about it. But at the end of the day, you will always be a customer to her. And what's quite frightening, guys, is that even if you were to have kids with her, you'd still be a customer in her mind just because of how you met. And what she first saw you as. She saw you as business to generate money, and it's very difficult for these girls to try and change that mindset. So if you throw money at them, you've got to understand that you're paying for like a staff member to please you, and as long as you keep paying, more than likely she'll keep pleasing you. But the moment that you cut her off is the moment that you stop her being interested in you any longer. You know, she's got a business to run still. Yeah, she's still wanting to make money, and she's not changed that mindset. So just be aware of that and you'll do absolutely fine. Right, guys, so as always, if you've got a story that you wish to share, or you want to pass on your thoughts or ideas about the land of smiles here in Thailand, then please send your emails in to thaitalkwithdan@gmail.com. It's my last day today in Nong Khai, and I will be heading back to Buriram tomorrow. So thanks for watching, guys, and ciao for now.